Hello, hello, eBayers! Welcome to the June 2025 Seller Shoutout. This video celebrates the eBay community. All sales matter, and more importantly, everyone can learn something new. Nothing is in order here, so listen up for your name and your 5 seconds of fame. And these sales come from the Money Making Mondays thread in my Facebook group. We'll start with Denise Rogge. She said, I bought this string art wood plaque from a thrift store while on vacation in Florida for $5. It sold in 5 months for best offer of $17. Seahorse string art on wood plank on beach time. Rustic beach wall art 12 inches. $5 sold for $17. Carol Brune, she said, watch for Halloween metal cookie cutters. I paid 25 cents at a garage sale. They sold in a month for $19.95. These are vintage metal Miro cookie cutters, witch, cat, turkey, Halloween, and Thanksgiving. So that was a lucrative flip, 25 cents, sold for just under $20. Julie Gambino. I've had this for so many years, I don't remember where I got them. Listed for around 3 years. Sold for full asking price of $35.99. Vintage Sperti sun lamp goggles from 1958. So Julie, you get the Never Give Up award. 3 years, sold for $36. Tanya Bruner paid 50 cents at an estate sale, listed 6 weeks. Pier 1 Asian Spice Home Fragrance Spray 6 ounce, approximately 30% full. Now this is not a health and beauty item, so it doesn't have to be completely full. 50 cents and sold for just under $25. Karen Monks, free to me and took a $50 offer after a couple of months. Loungefly Disney Stitch Sherpa unisex hoodie, flipped for $50 and no cost to her. Terry Bishop bought at a yard sale last summer. There were 6 of these dolls in the gem and the holograms line with accessories for $10. Sold this one for $35 plus shipping. I have one left out of the lot to sell. This one took much longer to sell than the first 4. And I'd never heard of these dolls. Jerica, Gem, and the holograms. So her cost was less than $10, sold for $35. Kim Smith. I found this dress at Family Thrift for $2.66. I scanned the kids' clothing for Lily Pulitzer prints because they are easy to recognize. Sold in about 6 months. So the item is Lily Pulitzer Girls Size 10 Flamingo Floral Shift Dress. That was a nice flip. $2.66, sold for $29.60. Carol Brune has another one, and this is a teeny tiny thing. She said, slow week, so I ran a 15% off sale. Paid $1 for this at a garage sale. Sold in a couple of weeks for $16.96. Barbie kitchen dishes, pots and pans, 1970s vintage lot. And that is a fun flip. And this stuff is teeny tiny plastic stuff and still profitable. Next up is Diana Warren, who has a blast from the past. Paid 50 cents for these at a yard sale and sold them in 2 days for best offer of $15.99. Blockbuster Video blue and yellow fanny pack and koozie. So, interesting side note, there is one Blockbuster store remaining in the world, and it's located in Bend, Oregon. It is a franchised location that remains open due to a small number of franchise agreements retained by Dish Network after the bankruptcy. And I did a little research, and Diana is located in Washington State, which is about her exact location is about 200 miles from the Bend, Oregon area. So I'm just curious, like how those two items ended up at a yard sale near Diana. But they are from the one and only remaining Blockbuster store. So now you know more about Blockbuster than you ever thought possible. Okay, Denise Rogge has another one. I bought this vintage unused tobacco pouch at a Goodwill for $4.27. There were pouches listed, but no kits with the original oilcloth pouch, so I priced high at $50. I accepted an offer for $30 after 1.5 months. And this was an interesting item. And by the way, the items that are in these videos, I choose them intentionally because they're just odd or random, or like the Blockbuster items, an interesting situation. So I want these videos to be educational so that everybody can learn more about what to sell. So it may seem like I'm picking favorites, but that is really not the case. I'm looking at the items, and a lot of times it's something I didn't know, so I don't claim to know everything. I'm thinking, well, maybe other people don't know this either. That is the case with this item. It is a tobacco pouch with case with the pipe tool and cleaners. She paid $4.27, and it sold for $30. Okay, Sarah Amick has a nostalgic item. Trixie Belden. Raise your hand if you read those books. She paid 10 cents at a Goodwill, and it sold in a few months. This is Trixie Belden number 37, The Pet Show Mystery paperback golden book from 1985. And this sold for $55, 10-cent investment. So there's a little bit of nostalgia for you baby boomers and Gen Xers that read these books. I did as a teenager. Nancy Drew and Trixie Belden. Lisa Wilbur. Now, this is an item I've seen many times, but I didn't know they were worth anything. OOFOS, OOFOS, flip-flops, paid $1 at a garage sale, sold for $30 in 2 weeks. And these are women's size 6 flip-flops. So that's a great investment, and I will pay more attention to that brand when I see it next. Okay, Julie Brown always has fascinating stories to go along with her sales. She said, "Here are more personal items that have been sitting on shelves for years. In the late 90s, my husband's great uncle passed. They had no children. My husband received his uncle's collection of fishing supplies. It has sat on the shelf since it arrived at our home when he passed. I pulled it out, knowing nothing about fishing supplies. What's the difference between bait and lure? Google Lens was very helpful, and I have quickly worked through half of the collection. I wanted to get it listed before Father's Day. This lure sold in 1 day for best offer of $44.98 plus shipping. I have netted over $200 in about 2 weeks. Just goes to show that you do not have to know much about anything to sell it online." So this is Vintage Creek Club Injured Minnow, fishing lure with glass eyes, gold scales, and it has the box. So this was free to her, and it sold for just under $45 for one fishing lure. Catherine Racine, free to me and sold for an offer of $16. This was kind of an experiment on promoted listings. It's been listed for 6 months with not so much as a single view. I decided to end and sell similar, and I used the suggested promoted listing rate, and within 2 days, I was in negotiations with someone. It may be a fluke, it may not be. I'm going to play around with promoting it at higher rates some more and see what happens. The item is My Little Kitchen Fairies figurine with popcorn. A little cute item. So, to your point of promoted listings, Catherine, um, there are a lot of questions about this on my group. What to do, what rate to promote at, what listings to do them on, and really, you just got to play around with it yourself because there are so many variables involved in selling anything on eBay. What's your competition? Is there any competition? Um, as far as the rate, you just have to play around with what you're comfortable with. Some people won't go above 2% because they're just not comfortable. Others are more aggressive. And there was a discussion about if you promote at a higher rate, if you're more likely to get the sale. And we can only speculate. We don't know. We don't know the algorithm, and eBay doesn't want us to. So just jump out there, experiment with it. The worst that can happen is you will sell an item and have to pay that promoted listing fee. So that's not a bad thing. Some people say, yeah, I don't use it on truly rare items because you don't need to. And I agree with that. If you've got something, there's only 5 of them on the internet or none of them on the internet, your listing's going to be found. You don't need to promote it. That's my opinion. So feel free to weigh in the comments what your strategy is with promoted listings, or if you don't even use them at all. Plenty of sellers say, I never use them, and they sell a lot of items. So it really is just like shooting an arrow in the dark. You just have to play around with it and see what works for you, your store, the type of items you sell, the way you price your items. Do you have best offer? All of those things. Becky Sanders bought at an estate sale for $1. Took a year and 3 months to sell. Peanuts pillowcases, Charlie Brown, 1970. $1, and it sold for $38.89. And Becky, I give you the Patience Award. It took over a year to sell, but still, where else can you get that kind of return on a $1 investment? Denise Haley bought a box of empty boxes about 5 months ago for $12.30. So I'm into each box for $1.23. This is the 7th one to sell now. This one sold for full price. Original box and manual only for a Canon camera. This sold for $22.99 and her cost was $1.23. Ashley Duvall paid $2 at the Goodwill, sold for full price of $24.99 in a few months. Vintage glass milk bottle, Sprague Dairy, Del Mar, San Diego, half pint. $2 and sold for just under $25. And I did sell several milk bottles when I was out in the Midwest last year, and I learned that these smaller ones, the half pints, are just as desired as the larger ones. I think collectors like them because there weren't as many made and they are smaller, so if they have a display, it's not taken up by, 1 gallon bottles. They like the small ones. And there were so many little independent dairies back in the day, family owned dairies, um, that now the families are looking for these that have their family name on them. So make sure to put that family name in your title. It kind of goes along with like the cabinet cards and anything that could be related to genealogy and descendants of these families looking for items that were from the family business. So I did sell several of these small half pint sizes, and the people that bought them were just thrilled. They messaged me and, told me the story of, this was their grandpa's dairy or whatever it was. And so these items are highly sought after if they have the family name on them, or even if they don't, if it's just a city, because most of them are gone now. So a little bit of trivia for you there. Okay, Ashley has another one. She said another postcard sale, paid less than 20 cents for it, sold for full price of $19.99 in a bit less than a year. And this is also an unusual postcard. It's of a prison. It says Rosa Duran, Pearl Hart, Elena Estrada, Yuma, Arizona Territorial Prison. So that's something you don't see every day, a postcard of a prison. Interesting. Kathleen Gifford. I picked this up at a yard sale 1 month ago for 75 cents. It took a lot of TLC to get her ready to list. Sold for $40 plus shipping. Vintage strawberry shortcake doll with pet custard cat and comb from 1979. So she cost 75 cents and sold for just under $40. Suzanne Keene popped into Goodwill looking for a 13 by 9 baking pan I needed and found this Longaberger tissue box with insert for $3.99. I wasn't really sourcing, but couldn't pass it up. Sold within 12 hours for $34.99. So, yeah, that's a thing, tissue box covers. Who knew, right? Deborah McGeary, 1980s My Little Pony house found at Goodwill, surprisingly full of toys. Usually they are empty. Paid about $10 and sold for full asking price of $59.99. It was fun to see all the horses and furniture and accessories and do research on them. Some didn't go with the house, so I made a different listing for those. Listed for about 5 months, so happy to send it on its way. Large items take up so much space. So the item title is 1985 My Little Pony Lullaby Nursery House 19 Pieces Horses Furniture Accessories. So that was a great flip and a lucky find that the little house had all those things in it. Kim Lutz. My sales are few and far between, but I keep moving along. And kudos to you, Kim. Just keep going. She said, free to me from husband's collection. Took best offer of $67 plus shipping with husband's blessing. Sold just shy of a year from original listing date. Still have several more to research and list. The item is Pink Floyd 1980-81 The Wall performed live. So this was free and she took an offer of $67. Julianne C.C. Lansing purchased at my local church thrift at their semi-yearly bag sale in March. Probably have about 30 cents into these. Sold in 2 months on an offer of $25. New with tag Dockers Classic Fit pants. And I did not know Dockers sold for this much. So this was news to me. Her cost was 30 cents and she got $25 for these. Bev Bellman purchased for $49 at a thrift store and sold in 2 weeks for $195 plus shipping. Customer was absolutely thrilled to get it and had been looking for one for several years. My first furniture sale on eBay. This is a vintage Ethan Allen telephone conversation gossip bench table. $49 and sold for $195. And congratulations, Bev, on your first furniture sale and tackling this item to pack and ship it. Bill Hunt tried my hand at some health and beauty, didn't go super well. Paid $1 at a yard sale, listed for a year, and finally got a $10 offer. Bioinfusion Daily Volume Blow Dry Balm Lot of 3. So I'm including this one to show you that while Bill has some outstanding sales and some high dollar sales, he also has the mediocre sales like the rest of us. So don't compare yourself to other people. Just know that sellers sell items at all price points and, it all adds up over time, so it's all good. Mark Sherrill paid $19 at a Starbucks in Budapest while on vacation earlier this spring with Cheryl Green. And Cheryl and Mark are married. And as Cheryl said in the podcast, she did not change her last name because then her name would be Cheryl Cheryl. That just cracks me up. Anyway, this sold for $60 plus $12 shipping. It is the You Are Here collection by Starbucks, Budapest, Hungary, 2023. Melissa Foshi purchased for about $1 average cost of goods from a jewelry lot. Sold in about 10 months for best offer of $25 plus shipping. These are some gorgeous House of Harlow earrings, triangle waterfall, silver tone with dangling chains. And I included this to show you the word waterfall. That is what these are called, the style. So if you have anything like this, you might want to add that word to your title and your description in case you didn't know. Andrew Silveroli bought these old unopened baby crib sheets from Goodwill for $4.61. They sold in 4 months for full price. Vintage Sears and Roebuck fitted baby crib bottom sheet, animal print, 100% cotton. $4.61, sold for $25.99. So these vintage things are still out there. This one was hiding in a Goodwill. Mindy Allen loves selling patterns like this. Paid 25 cents at my favorite thrift store. Listed in my car before I left the store. Sold in a couple of weeks. I paid for shipping $3.86. Can't get interest like that on 25 cents in the bank. You are exactly right. This is a Butterick sewing pattern of priest, clergy, men's costume. Sold for $34.95. And yeah, this is something you don't see every day. A priest, clergyman costume. And Mindy has another pattern. She says, found this one at a thrift store, paid 25 cents. The 50 cents on the envelope was the price that the previous owner paid and then donated to the thrift store. It was cut, and I did check to make sure all the pieces were accounted for, and they were. It took about 2 weeks to sell with many watchers. Sold for $45. I paid shipping. A great return with little time invested. So the title is Vintage Simplicity Gunny Sacks Dress Pattern. Prairie cottagecore from 1981. Yes, and that cottagecore is a thing, and this is the exact style. So I'm not surprised that this sold. But it sold for $45 for a pattern, so that's great. Okay, Jane Tyson. This set of bauble Santas was given to me by a friend who was clearing out stuff in her house. It took 2 years to sell, which surprised me because of the popularity of bobbleheads. I had decided that it was going to a white elephant Christmas party this Christmas if it did not sell, but I sold it for best offer of $19.99 plus shipping. This was easy to ship as the Santas were in the original box packed in styrofoam, so they went into another box with packing material and off they went. The title is Vintage Bauble Santa's Mingle and Jingle Set of 3 Retro Holiday Christmas. So $20. It took 2 years to sell. So Jane, you also get the Patience Award. Everything eventually sells. Susie Palmer Grant paid 43 cents at the thrift store and sold in 2 weeks for $32.88 plus shipping. Bibles are some of my best sellers. This is a Hebrew Bible in large print. And side note, the large prints also sell for more. More and more of us are needing that large print as we get older. So this was 43 cents and it sold for $32.88. And Susie Palmer Grant paid 15 cents at a thrift store and sold for $17.90 plus shipping in 2 months. This is another sewing pattern. She says patterns can be hit or miss, but I sure love picking them up and they are so easy to list and store. This is Simplicity Unisex Clown Jester Hat Costume Pattern. 15 cents and sold for $17.90. And just remember, Halloween themed costumes, people are making them all year. So get those listed. eBay knows no season, they can sell anytime. Okay, well, that wraps up this episode. Keep working hard, keep listing those items and tackling those death piles because your next sale could be any minute now. Thanks for watching, and as always, I appreciate your comments. Have a great day on eBay. Bye, everybody.